You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 122.2, our girls basketball scoreboard for Tuesday's games and Wednesday's previews in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and Northern Hamilton Counties. Our guest today is Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin. That'll be right after the scoreboard segment.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we give you our sincerest thanks. Today is December 18, 2024. It's a Wednesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, we have results from Tuesday's games in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and Northern Hamilton Counties. Then we have a new segment. I don't think it has a name yet. We haven't come to a decision. I will tell our guest exactly what I think the outcome is going to be of each of that day's games, and that guest will tell me exactly how wrong I am. Michelle Garman and I start that tonight with 4 Wednesday games. Michelle Rutherford and I interviewed Sheridan head coach Jalen Bradshaw and Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin, who called us to talk some Madison County basketball. Before we get to tonight's results and highlights, let's start with Tuesday's scores around Central Indiana. Wapahani beat Frankton 57-37. Madison Grant held off Eastern 45-43 in Greentown. Delta beat Eastbrook 59-26. Jay County 57, Blackford 21. LaPel with the upset over Eastern Hancock. The final score was 60-56. Sheridan, another big win for the Blackhawks, 68-49 over Tri-West. Class A number 13 Tri-Central beat Frankfort 50-12. Kokomo ended Hamilton Heights' modest 2-game winning streak with a 58-37 win in Cicero. Marion won 49-41 at New Haven. Muncie Central got its 6th win of the year, 46-41 over Class A number 14 Clinton Central. Class A number 16. And Peru outscored Northwestern 24-7 in the fourth quarter to pull off a 48-39 victory at Northwestern. Before we get to today's results, just want to remind you, please like, subscribe, or follow us so you don't miss a single segment. A reminder that we are now on YouTube. Just go there and search Central Indiana Sports Report and you will find every single one of our segments. We start tonight's scoreboard at Wapahani, where the host Raiders beat Frankton 57-37. Wapahani is now 10-1 after their 6th straight win. Wapahani led 28-17 at the half, then outscored Frankton 18-9 in the third to put the game away. Wapahani was led by junior Megan Luce with 20 points and 2 rebounds. Senior Kimber Abshir had 19 points and 14 rebounds. Junior Emily Luce, 11 points, 2 rebounds, and senior Judy Drago had 7 points. Sheridan goes to 2-9 Cowan on Thursday in their next one. Frankton is now 5-7, has lost 3 of its last 4. The Eagles' scoring was very balanced. Senior Emma Key had 9, sophomore Layla Dietzer 8, senior Ann Curtis 7, Sophia Hoagland 6, junior Lainey Hammaker 5, and junior Macy Curtis 4, 3-2-1. Frankton hosts 10-1 Oak Hill in a big CIC contest on Saturday. Oak Hill has also won 6 in a row. Madison Grant held off Eastern for a 45-43 win in Greentown. The Argyles led 38-31 after 3 quarters and then had to hold off a late Eastern charge. The Argyles are now 3-8 but have won 2 of their last 4. It was their 5th straight win over Eastern. The Argyles go to 8-4 Anderson Prep on Thursday. Eastern is now 0-11. They were led by Marley Cone once again. The senior had 15 points and 19 rebounds. Senior Kinsey Eagle had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. Freshman Gianna Beachy had 10 points and 4 assists. Freshman Lainey Newland had 10 rebounds. Eastern next goes to Sheridan. In fact, their next two opponents are a combined 18-3. Delta won for the fourth time in 5 games with a 59-26 home win over Eastbrook. The Eagles have won 4 of their last 5 and ended a 4-game losing streak to the Panthers. Junior Elizabeth Bombadelli scored all 6 of her points in the first quarter as the Eagles jumped out to a 16-3 lead. They also led 34-10 at the half. Junior Griffin Knight led Delta with 20 points. She hit 3 3-pointers. Junior Jillian Barnes scored 11 points, as did junior Addison Barnes. The Eagles have a Hoosier Heritage Conference game at Greenfield Central on Saturday afternoon. The Cougars are 8-3. Eastbrook falls to 3-7. They were led by 12 points from senior AJ Brenner and 9 from senior Mia Bustos. The Panthers are at 12-0 Alexandria on Saturday. Jay County won at Blackford 57-21. The Patriots are now 5-5. They have won 2 in a row following a 4-game losing streak. They've also beaten Blackford 8 years in a row. Liz Brunswick led the Patriots with 18.7 rebounds and 5 assists. Sophomore Hallie Schwederman, 15 points and 4 steals. In the biggest game of the night, LaPel upset Class 2A number 5 Eastern Hancock 60-56 behind 29 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks from junior Lanaya Wills. LaPel is now 8-5, has won 4 straight and 7 of their last 9. They also avenged one of last year's 5 losses with the win. The Bulldogs host 8-2 Monroe Central on Thursday. Eastern Hancock took their first loss. They are now 10-1. Sophomore Kinsey Koch, one of the best players in the state, had 32 points for the Royals. It was another big win for Sheridan. The Blackhawks beat Tri-West 68-49 at home on Tuesday. Sheridan's now 8-1, has won 6 straight, and it's their first win over Tri-West since 2016. Senior Kinsey Garner led the way for Sheridan with 28 points. She was 9 for 18 from the field, 7 for 10 from deep, with 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Senior Shelby Eaton had 13 points. Senior Cecilia Timmy had 12 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. She was 5 for 9 from the field. And senior Nova Cross made all 4 of her field goal attempts and finished with 10 points. Michelle Garman, Will Rutherford, and I spoke with Sheridan head coach Jalen Bradshaw and asked her about beating the Bruins.
So yeah, this is our first time having them on the schedule. So I don't want to say what the outcome was 7 years ago when we played them my first year, but it was not beautiful. So it feels good to come away with the win tonight. That's for sure.
Coach, you guys have done a nice job. I'm guessing the beefing up of your schedule a little bit this year was intentional to prepare you for the postseason.
Yeah, definitely. So just trying to get some teams on there that we, saw that are similar, I guess, to kind of what we saw in the postseason last year. Just to kind of get us ready and prepare us for, hopefully January and February.
Big night for Kinsey Gardner, 29 points.
Yeah, she was great tonight. She did a great job of handling ball pressure super well, and then also playing some pretty darn good defense. I think she had 21 of them in the first half, but then she was able to, I think she ended with like 6 or 7 assists as well, and I think most of those came in the second half. So she did a really nice job of adjusting. When Tri-West changed how they were defending her in the second half, then she started dishing the ball out, and helped us out that way.
Coach, of course, you have Tipton on Wednesday night.
Yes.
2-8, 2-9, not a little bit better than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
Still not competitive. Are you a little worried about your team maybe not being as sharp because of that tomorrow? I mean, because you're dealing with young ladies who see records and who see scores. So
Yes. No, I know exactly what you mean. So we just preach to our girls so much of just staying solid and doing the things that we do well, no matter who we're playing, and just controlling all aspects of the game. That's something that we say to them all the time. Control the tempo and the pace and the speed, offensively and defensively. We really stress that to them. So just trying to keep them solid, and we also remind them if these are, if we
I'm curious, when you're playing a back to back like this, especially you're, playing a team that you haven't beaten, and then you're going and playing a 2-9 team with a subpar record at up to this
Let's
point.
just say not one of Tipton's best
Yeah,
teams.
how do you go
Yeah.
about the preparation for that second back to back? Like, how far in advance are you scouting and getting the girls ready for a game like that?
Yeah, that's a great question because it is when you have back to back, and then we play Friday as well. So it's just trying to keep them locked in and focused, and just letting them know like these aren't games that we can come into and be loose. We never want to come into a game loose, but we also try to emphasize to the girls, if you are coming into these games loose, you can get hurt if you're, not locked in and focused. So just trying to keep them like, where their minds need to be for every single game, no matter, who we're playing or, what the other team's record is and all that stuff. So um we it's gonna be a big week for us, and then we have the potential to play in our holiday tournament next week. We open with Seeger, and then we have the potential to play Eastern Hancock. So,
Mm,
yeah. So,
that should be fun.
Yes.
yeah, we're excited for it. So,
Are you concerned then by playing Tipton and Eastern back to back, and then Seeger's not quite as strong as they've been,
yeah,
to then have to play a good? I mean, because Eastern Hancock is
Ooh.
pretty good.
yeah.
So
It's
Pretty
hard to
good.
compare anyone to Eastern Hancock. They're just having an outstanding year, and I mean they did last year as well. So, um, I mean, we have a ton of film on Eastern Hancock, so the girls kind of know what to expect. As far as that goes, and our kids are pretty diligent about watching a lot of film on their own, and then we come and watch it together, but just they know that it's going to be, a challenge, and that, each game we go into with a little bit, a lot of the same parts of the same game plan, but everything is, adjusted a little bit depending on who we're playing and what we need to expect, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, how nice is it to have a team that's playing so well that you look forward to playing one of the best teams in Class 2A?
Yeah. I won't say it doesn't come without a ton of nerves,
Oh, sure.
for me and for the girls, but and for my staff and for, my husband who gets to hear all about it every night that I come home. But it's exciting. It's an exciting time for us, and we're really hoping to play well the next couple of weeks. We just don't slow down, between now and the end of our season. We're go, go, go. We got a little bit of a later start than we didn't play that first week that we could have played early in the season. Um so now it's go time. So it's just a matter of, keeping the girls locked in and focused, and, approaching every single game with that mindset.
yeah, in fact, you kind of end the season almost like a sectional format, because you
Yeah.
28th, 29th, and 31st. The only thing different about that is your back to backs are the first two, and then time off,
Right.
and then whereas the sectional, the back to backs are the last two. So, um, yeah, I mean that's so. I guess maybe you're gonna have lots of ways to get your team prepared for the format of the sectional.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a blessing and a curse playing 3 times that week. Um, I like you said, it does make it more realistic to what we'll see in the sectional with playing back to back, and needing to be ready to go all the time. But it's hard to play 3 games that last week of the season just because it's the end of the season anyway, so everybody's tired. um but it's worked. Obviously it worked out for us pretty well last year, so didn't want to change anything for this year. So we'll see how it serves us, I suppose.
All right, Coach. Go ahead.
Besides Kinsey, anybody else tonight that played well for you?
I mean, everybody really bought into the game plan tonight. They always do. My kids are great. I know. I mean, they're outstanding. But Eden had 13 points. Cecilia Timmy had 12. Cross had 10. And then I think Max Smith didn't score, but just her presence on the floor was huge for us. With rebounding, she had like 2 rebounds, 2 assists, which it was huge. And then the 2 sophomores, Sadie Timmy and Brielle Garner, just played outstanding defense on Tri-West quick guards. So, I mean, we talked after the game, how it's nice to have such a solid 7 that we can bring in different combinations of those 7 kids. And, we don't really like we don't lose anything when we sub, I guess, if that makes sense. They all bring something different, and we love all the different combinations that we can go with because it gives us a different look. So,
All right, Coach. Last question.
yeah.
You're undefeated in the conference, a really good conference. How important is winning a conference championship to your team?
These girls are, they've gotten a taste for what it's like to, win a regional and compete in a semi-state. And we're just super competitive. I think all of us, my staff and all the kids, we don't like losing. And so it's really important to us. We felt like last year, we played Carroll, first game of the season, maybe second game of the season, and lost to them. And so then that's a little bit discouraging, when you lose that early in the season to somebody in your conference. So we're really liking where we're at right now, but we still have a lot of good teams in our conference that we have to play come January. So hopefully we'll end our conference play strong.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach. Enjoyed the
Yeah, of course.
conversation and love hearing about your kids. Sheridan hosts 2-9 Tipton on Wednesday. Like I said, we will have a new feature coming up where we make predictions on every single game coming up that night. Tri-West is 6-5 and had their 3-game winning streak snapped. Class A number 13 Tri-Central beat Frankfort 50-12. Tri-Central is now 6-5 and has won its last 2 games. Junior Logan Creason had 18 points, 16 of those came in the first half. Senior Layla Keith had 15 points. Junior Olivia Dempsey finished with 6. Tri-Central will host 7-4 and Class A number 16 Clinton Central on Friday. Frankfort is now 0-10. It's their second straight 0-10 start. Junior Eliana Stewart had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks to help Kokomo beat Hamilton Heights 58-37 on the road Tuesday. Stewart got plenty of help from her teammates. Senior Michaela Drake had 16 points. She was 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from deep, with 5 steals. And senior Reagan McLean made 2 of her 5 3-pointers, finished with 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Kokomo hosts Marion in a big NCC conference game on Thursday in a girls-boys doubleheader. Hamilton Heights is now 2-10 and goes to 1-10 Blackford on Saturday afternoon. Speaking of Marion, the Giants snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 49-41 win at New Haven on Tuesday. Freshman Naomi Hines had 18 points, freshman Jaylee Townsend scored 15, and senior Maisie Allen added 9. Like I said, Marion is at Kokomo on Friday. New Haven is now 1-11 and has lost 9 in a row. After winning just 2 games all of last year, Muncie Central won its 6th game on Tuesday night, beating Class A number 16 Clinton Central 46-41. The Bearcats have won 3 straight and are at 0-11 Anderson on Friday. Clinton Central falls to 7-4. Peru outscored Northwestern 24-7 in the fourth quarter to come from behind for a 48-39 road win on Tuesday. Northwestern is now 3-7. It's lost 5 of its last 6. Senior Anna Bisher and senior Berkeley Ray scored 12 points apiece for the Tigers. Northwestern hosts 9-3 Rochester in a Three Rivers Conference game on Thursday. Peru is now 4-8 and ended a 3-game losing streak with the comeback win. They've won 4 in a row over Northwestern, including beating them in the sectional last year. It was the first ever Three Rivers matchup between the two programs. For Peru, junior Addie Robbins had 20 points. Sophomore J.C. Boswell had 14. Junior Kai Carell finished with 9. The Central Indiana Sports Report Girls Basketball Player of the Day for Tuesday, December 17th is lapel junior Lanaya Wills, who had 29 points, going 10 for 13 at the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks, as lapel earned a big 60-56 road win over Class 2A number 5 Eastern Hancock. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana girls basketball. Please stay tuned for our new Wednesday preview and prediction segment.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Menkels.
All right, Michelle, here we are, just 4 games on Wednesday. I'm going to give you what I estimate the favorite to be and by how many points. You're going to tell me how close I am, whether it's going to be more or less, and if you disagree with the team that I pick, then you get even more points, and we will figure out a point system. But right now, we're just going to pick the 4 games. All right, 2-9 Tipton is at 8-1 Sheridan. My prediction is Sheridan by 47, more or less.
It could possibly be a bit more. If it is a bit more, it won't be because Jadlyn
For sure.
is going to run it up, because her and I'm talking about Jadlyn Bradshaw, Sheridan's coach, and Coach Leela Gilliman of Tipton. They're friends. I mean, I think they do things. Jadlyn and her husband, and Leela and hers. I think they do.
She
things
wouldn't do
together.
that to anybody.
She wouldn't do that to anyone, but you just don't ever want to do that to friends. So I mean, I think talent wise, it could be more. It could be a little less, because since Sheridan's coming off that big win with Tri-West and they have a game with Eastern again on Friday, I mean, this is a time you want to rest some legs, because you have a big tournament, your own tournament next week, where Eastern Hancock is going to be in that. I could see that maybe you dial back in a little bit as far as legs, and they'll be up to how good your kids 8 through 12 dressed on the bench or whatever, how well they perform when they come in. So, I mean,
But we both agree it's going to be Sheridan by a lot.
Oh, yeah, and it'll be a running clock in the second half.
And you say more.
I
You
said,
say less.
oh, man.
That's why this is why it's hard.
I'm gonna
First one ever of this new thing, and it's.
I know it, and it is mainly it's because when you get 2 coaches that are friends, it's really in your talent. You're just kind of thinking. I'm gonna say it's gonna be right at the.
You can't, that's not an option.
Okay. What was it last year? Can you tell me what the score was last year?
Yes, I just off the top of my head, I know that it was 61-12 Sheridan, so it was 49 points,
All right.
and that was at Tipton.
I was at Tipton, and Gardner was sick and did not play that night. I will say this. I'm going to say it's slightly more. I don't think it's going to be a huge more, but I will say slightly more because it's at Sheridan, and I think that those kids probably know they're going to probably be resting the second half, so they're going to want to go out and play a good first half and probably a good first 3-4 minutes of the third quarter. I would be surprised if Sheridan's top players are playing in the fourth quarter or playing very many minutes in the fourth quarter.
All right, 8-2 Wabash is at 10-1 Oak Hill, and a very good one. I set it at Oak Hill by 9.
Oh boy. I think it is gonna be single digits, and I say 6 or 7 maybe.
Okay, 5-4 Yorktown is at 3-6 Mississinawa. Yorktown by 17.
And it's at Mississinawa. Yorktown by 20 or 25.
All right, Will Rutherford's sitting here. He agrees. He's going to participate in the future, but he's going to watch it happen once. All right, we have 2-7 Western at 5-6 Clinton Prairie. Clinton Prairie by 1.
You said Western at Prairie, right?
Yep.
That's so hard.
By the way, Western has lost 4 games in a row. All 4 of them have been very close. All 4 of them against pretty good teams. So it should be interesting.
It should be interesting. I actually think that Western's going to win that one. I think it's going to be a tight one, but I do think Western will win it because I think Western has played a pretty good schedule up to this point.
For 5 points, Michelle, or however we're going to do it, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out after tonight. All right, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Please stay tuned for Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Menkels.
Some interesting girls scores on Tuesday night, especially Lapel going to Eastern Hancock and beating them 60-56.
Yeah, on the road against an unbeaten Royals team that's really good. I believe they were in the semi-state last year, as well as Lapel. So for Lapel, which maybe didn't really have much of a quality win on their resume yet. And I realize they don't matter because the tournament's not seeded, unfortunately. But this is a good quality win for them. I mean, they're undefeated. Was Eastern ranked number one? I know Alec is two. Or is East Noble? Somebody else is number one.
Yeah, no, yeah.
East. I don't remember. But anyway, they're undefeated. And they go on the road and beat them. And I think they led most of the way. I know Eastern.
Yeah, they're number 5.
They're number 5, so a really good road win regardless.
Yeah.
Lanaya Wills, I think, scored 29 in that game, which is she's on some kind of roll right now. I think she's got to be averaging over 30 points the last 3 or 4 games. So, and that's we're heading into the stretch toward the Madison County tournament, which Lapel wants to defend. They've won it the last 2 years in a row. I'm sure there's a couple other teams in Alexandria and Pendleton who thought maybe the door was open because Lapel was looking maybe a little down this year. Watch out.
That's
Watch
right.
out. They're playing well. They're going to be tough to beat.
There was probably some question going into the game tonight whether she was going to be the best player on the floor, and I'm guessing she answered that question.
Kinsey Cook is a phenomenal talent. She's a sophomore now for Eastern. Really impressed me last year as a freshman. And I think she actually outscored Lanaya tonight. She scored 31, but what an incredible duel that must have been to watch, those two. When you get 2 players of that caliber going head-to-head, and I know they more or less play different positions. Lanaya is playing more on the perimeter these days. I don't know how much they were guarding each other, but that had to have been a lot of fun to watch those two go toe-to-toe.
We'll see if we can find that one online somewhere because that one needs to be watched.
Daleville with a nice big win over Blue River. Good conference win for them. Addison Gothrop, who's another kid, kind of like Lanaya, maybe off to a – I don't know if Lanaya was ever off to a slow start, but Addie was certainly off to a slow start offensively. She's kind of got it rolling now. She's their leading scorer. She hit for 25 today. And, Blue River's not necessarily a high caliber talent, but Daleville did what you're supposed to do when you're playing a team you're better than, and that's beat them soundly. And they're playing very well of late. Had a nice win against Frankton the other night that I was there for, and which they kind of look at, with all respect to Frankton, they look at that as a really kind of a program establishing win. They have a lot of respect for the Frankton program and for Daleville to beat Frankton, which I don't think they had ever done. They were very proud of that win.
And tonight, Wapahani beat Frankton. That was quite a hold on.
Pretty one-sided, right? I mean, it was 57. Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
And so here we go one more time. Wapahani 57, Frankton 37. What do you know about that one, Rob?
Not much. Frankton didn't have anybody in double figures. From what it sounds like, Wapahani shot the lights out, and Frankton did not. And I know Emma Key, I think, led Frankton with 9. So, what I'm learning from that is that Wapahani is pretty good. That makes that sectional. I think we were kind of looking at that sectional as Alexandria kind of an overwhelming favorite. I think Wapahani might be the team that gives them a little bit of a push in that sectional. Frankton's going to be in a different. They're not in the same sectional with Wapahani anymore, so not necessarily a sectional preview there, but certainly you can extrapolate some things. What is Wapahani going to do now? Maybe when they face Alexandria, you can hold these scores side by side, kind of get a look ahead to see what's going on. Frankton, I think they're still kind of trying to. They're one of those teams still trying to figure out who they are a little bit and what kind of team they're going to look like. And Emma Key is having a phenomenal start to the year. Sophia Hoagland's a talented kid. They just kind of need to get everybody hitting on all cylinders at the same time.
Unless they improve a lot, there is no question that the 2 favorites in that sectional are.
Sectional 39, Sheridan, a nice win tonight.
Yes, they did.
Was it Tri-West?
Tri-West, yes, by almost by 19. So yeah,
really big.
The local connection for us there in Madison County with Kenzie Gardner, her aunt, who's a all-time great at Alexandria. So,
Is
one of
Rachel her
those-
aunt?
yes.
I guess I did not realize that.
Yep. So that could be interesting if that's a regional matchup, if it's Sheridan and Alexandria and regional.
Yeah.
Just a little added undercurrent for that game.
But there's now a little bit of question about whether Alexandra will win that, because I think Wapahani, the way they're playing, have to put a little bit of question into that when it looked like Alexandria was going to just cruise to the championship.
Yeah, speaking of undefeated teams, and and I think it was starting to get to be where we were almost assuming that Sheridan was going to be the cream of the crop in that section. Well, maybe that lapel win tonight throws that one into question a little bit too.
Maybe a little bit.
Those two teams play each other on January 14th at Sheridan.
Well, that'll tell us a part of a story too.
Yeah,
Yes.
talk about some good players.
Oh yeah, Wills and Garner. That's a nice. That'll be a nice matchup to watch, and on an individual matchup to watch.
Thank you to Sheridan head coach Jalen Bradshaw and to Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report and talking to you. And my deepest and sincerest thanks to Michelle Garman and Will Rutherford, who have been great friends to the podcast. We spent about 6 hours last night doing podcasts till 2 a.m. when I had to be at school by 7. So, all right. But thank you most of all to you for listening. Please go right now and like, subscribe, or follow us. You know what to do. Do it now. Reminder, we're also on YouTube now. All you have to do is do a search for Central Indiana Sports Report, and you won't miss a single segment. And please tell a friend. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susan.